Welcome to Pitch in the Zone, a weekly gathering of coaches that help a presenter with a 3-minute pitch. Our coaches include Nathan Gold, hailing from San Francisco. He focuses on high-stakes presentation coaching. We have Scotty Spursum. Scotty is a language coach. We have Michael Marchak. He joins us from Chicago. He's an angel investor, a CTO, an author, a speaker, and no, Michael isn't even here today. All right, so okay, no Michael, but moving on to Rick Pollack. Rick is in Boston, Massachusetts. Rick is a presentation coach with tremendous experience, especially in the technical sector and also with TEDx speakers. And then we have Massimo Peroncelli in Thailand. He is a serial entrepreneur, also a lot of experience in the pitching world, and he's going to double as our timer. So our speaker today, if you want to keep an eye on Massimo's screen, you will see how the timer is going down from 3 minutes to 2. And then, of course, just in time, Michael Marchak, again, he is from Chicago, a angel investor, CTO, author, speaker, and lots of experience, of course, in the pitching world. And then today, our speaker is Kemi Bolarinwa. Kemi, welcome to Pitch in the Zone. You are going to present New Leaf. We had a very, very short chat this morning, and I'm really, really excited to hear your pitch. Kemi, just so that we can focus our feedback towards your needs, what kind of a pitch is this going to be? Is this an investor pitch, or is this a consumer pitch, customer pitch? What kind of pitch?
I have it as an investor pitch.
An investor pitch for like early investors?
Early investors, angel investors, yeah.
Okay, so we will all put on our early investor hats when we listen to your pitch. Kemi, you are going to use slides, so please set up, and whenever you're ready, just take a deep, deep breath, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you all see my screen? Okay.
Yeah, really good.
And I will begin now. Hello there. Question. Have you ever felt frustrated, hopeless, when you throw plastic into the waste bin, knowing that it will most likely end up in the landfill or ocean? Well, I do all the time. I feel even more hopeless when I meet people who lack an understanding of the purpose and importance of sustainable waste management. Now, imagine if all this rubbish could find its way back into our homes and offices. I am not going to bore you with endless statistics because I assume you all know how extensive and damaging plastic pollution is to the world. Now, my name is Kemi Bolarinwa, and I am a founder at New Leaf. I'm here today to provide you with an opportunity to have a positive impact on various climate and social issues. New Leaf aims to tackle the problem of utilizing post-consumer and post-production waste after it is collected to prevent them from polluting the environment. So how might we turn trash into new products so that we reduce the environmental impacts? Our solution. Well, we want to start by transforming plastic and textile waste into timeless and cost-effective pieces of modular furniture that won't cost the earth. As a social enterprise, New Leaf will help close the circular economy loop. We will assist people trying to move towards sustainable practices, create another puzzle piece towards achieving the UN sustainability targets, and spread a message of hope. Consumer profiles identified include the environmentally conscious millennial and Gen Z working and studying from home, as well as business owners creating green office spaces. We plan to leverage Instagram and LinkedIn, where these users can be found, and have successfully connected with potential partners here in Melbourne. In our last survey, 99% of respondents said they would choose to buy furniture made up of recycled materials. To further test the market interest and build a community, we've also set up a rudimentary website and are now actively tracking site visits and subscription to the mailing list. Our website will allow people not only to purchase our products, but also to connect with the impact that we make. We envision a situation where buyers can access information on the composition and source of the waste material used in their products, and we will therefore explore the usage of blockchain technology and the metaverse to make this happen. The furniture we are looking to design is of a modular concept that will be versatile. We're still undergoing research into the various manufacturing methods and plan to develop a pipeline that can handle various types of plastics. Here we show some of the endless possibilities of the modular concept. One cube can extend to a bench, ottoman, shelf, table. Imagination is the limit. Our vision is to help consumers make a positive impact. And while we are going to start locally in Australia, there is a big opportunity to have a larger global impact by collecting and manufacturing in other locations. We ask that you help us reclaim the treasure trove of trash and give them a new life in our homes and offices. We're looking to build a functional website, which we currently don't have, and our team currently doesn't have the technical expertise to do so. We're also wanting to manufacture prototypes for beta testing, and also seeking mentoring and connections to key players in the following industries of manufacturing, waste management, polymer science, and design. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to your input.
All right. Kemi, that was a pretty good pitch. You went quite a bit over time. Massimo, what did you come in at about 1 minute 30 too long, or?
Yeah, one and a half minutes too long, yeah.
Oh,
One and a
okay.
half minutes too
Sorry.
long. It's all right. I do really love what you are doing, Kemi. And again, the pitch was okay. There is definitely there are a couple of areas that we can improve. So I'm looking forward to all of the feedback from the different coaches here today. Let's start with Rick. Rick, what kind of feedback can you provide to Kemi?
Kemi, very nice concept. And it's interesting. I saw when you were relaxed, you had the big smile and you looked very approachable, someone I'd want to invest with. But when you were going through at the beginning, it looked like you were a little stiffer. So I think that's always a challenge you have on the camera of, just being yourself and smiling compared to going through the pitch. So I think it's if you smile a little bit more and a little bit more relaxed, that's going to help. I like the beginning where you're talking about the question, have you ever felt frustrated? Landfill and your personal thing, I do all the time. So I like that, the sustainable waste management, and then your imagine, which is always a great word to imagine from that. But one thing I think you could do after you had that imagine statement, you talked about my name is, and that I think, especially for an investor, you talked about the problem. The solution is furniture. And I think if you said, imagine we could take that plastic and turn it into furniture, that gets your solution into that first minute. And you can get into that later. But I think that's going to be the cure. What are you going to imagine? Plastic, and then you say my name and this. So I think if you say, imagine we could take all of that waste and it's not going in the waste basket, it's going to become furniture. So I think that's a better flow, and people know exactly why they want to invest in you.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed on one of your slides, the picture had the little Canva watermark on it, which meant it was a premium thing you hadn't paid for. So,
It's actually a different account that I'm using. It's confusing. I do have a pro account, but then the account that has this presentation doesn't have it, and it's been a bit tricky trying to transfer.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm sure when you're ready to get in front of investors, that jumped out at me, and said that
Yeah.
as long as I see people using pictures with watermarks all the time, and it's like, no, that's not professional. Buy the picture. So, but I did notice that when you talked about your users, you talked about millennials and Gen Z, and I'm thinking, my question was, well, what about baby boomers? They're probably the angel investors. Don't leave them out.
Yeah.
Don't leave them out. They're the people who are probably going to be investing in your company. So make sure no one looks at it and says this is only for, I mean, people from 9 to 90 are going to care about trash becoming furniture. Don't just say it. So and people of all ages will buy that. Your website
Definitely.
scroll, when you started showing the thing that supposedly the website, I think you had it on a continuous scroll. I think you can just show it once, scroll through once, because if it just keeps on going in the background, people are going to get sick of seeing it that way and start getting dizzy from it. You can just have it scroll down once and show that. One way I think you can cut the 1.5 minutes off of that, you started getting into the details of the furniture, showing the blocks. I don't think the investors need to know that. I think the investors see that finished furniture. That's enough to show them in a 3-minute pitch. And that's a follow-up question when they're curious. And I like the thing about the new life for trash that kind of brings it back together. And your ask was, you needed the website, you needed the prototype. So I think they know, what you're looking for. And, so I think if you, cut some of those details out and just kind of rearrange up with, we're going to turn trash into furniture in that first minute. It's going to be much more effective. And I think you just need to relax a little bit more, smile some more, and you've got a great idea and a little refining on the pitch, and you're going to get some investors to sponsor this and help you make this a reality. So great job, Kemi.
Thank you for the feedback, Rick.
Wow, Rick, absolutely great feedback. And we've just gotten started, and Rick already has given you a laundry list of things that you certainly can look into to improve your pitch quite a bit, Kemi. Michael also always has a very, very interesting perspective, because he does not only look at your pitch, but as you can see from the comments in the chat, he also looks at it from an operational point of view. And Michael made a couple of comments in the chat about the operations, the sourcing of the material, and so on. So Michael, please elaborate a bit on that.
Sure. So, Kemi, tell me a little bit about how you came up with this idea. Where did that come from?
Sorry, can you repeat your question again?
Where did you come up with the idea?
So it's an idea that I've had bubbling through for quite a few years now. And I am quite environmentally conscious personally, so I like, sorting my waste, sorting my trash. But then, when I go online and, read about, most of the rubbish going to landfill, or, I talk to the garbage truck person, and they say that if there's contamination, everything just goes into landfill. So those things, those experiences have kind of really pushed me to wanting a solution, and rather than waiting for someone to do it, I thought, why not I do it? And so I have a biomedical background and not much business entrepreneurial skills. So last year I started going through some workshops, some programs like through Hex, which is how I got to know Nathan, and then Presenter Zone. And so I've just been trying to build my own personal skill sets, as well as understand the startup entrepreneurial innovation arena. I hope I answered your question, but yeah, that's how the idea kind of started and is where we are now.
Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to rewatch this episode and rewatch how you presented and how you just answered me. Because how you answered me was from your heart, from you. I saw Kemi talking. I didn't see a robot that looks like Kemi talking.
Yeah.
So when you're doing this, rewatch it again. You'll see that you become much more animated. You're telling me all these things. This was an issue that I saw. I really felt you felt it rather than say giving me the statistics. Everybody can look at the statistics. I know about trash. It's bad. I've been around for a long time. We were talking through this. That's just like Rick was saying, the baby boomers, they understand this just as well as the millennials do and as the Gen Zs do in terms of garbage is going somewhere, and we've been on the earth long enough to put a lot more in it than you have. Okay, so we know how bad the issues are, right? Yeah. So going back into that, that's one angle of it. But bringing that your animation just from a presentation standpoint is important because I want to see you. I want to see the passion that you have for this, not simply that there's that's bad out there and we've created furniture and it does some stuff for us, right? So that's just the presentation style. I think you'll get a lot about it when you just rewatch it. But also going back to the presentation itself too, the ask at the end, if you're really asking investors to get on board with you, you left out a whole lot of detail that it's really important to investors to be able to understand. So yes, we want to take plastics out of the environment and save the sea turtles and all those good things, right? We all want that. How are you going to get that plastic? How are you sourcing the plastic? Once the plastic's sourced, how are you going to be able to manage it? Do you have a distribution warehouse that you're going to be bringing this to? Are you manufacturing it yourself? Do you have a contract manufacturer? What type of furniture you're going to go build out of this thing? You showed pictures on your website of this finished furniture. Is that what I would expect from your aspect of what you're developing? Or when you showed your hand-drawn version, is it simply blocks that people sit on? There's a giant disconnect there. And from my perspective, I'm not sure where you're targeting this end goal to be, if it really is these blocks or is it the finished furniture you've shown. And so there's so many logistical holes that I would have to fill in for myself watching your presentation. It seemed as I didn't hear you think through a lot of the issues enough to say, if I was doing this myself, and this is when I talk with all the entrepreneurs, if I was doing this myself and I didn't have money, how would I do it? How would I accomplish these things? If I was a consumer of this thing, what would be important to me to buy it? Where would I go to buy it? Would I buy it online? If I bought it online, am I going to be then burning all these fossil fuels to have it delivered to me? Is there some other way of doing distribution or manufacturing? So there's a lot of things you got to think through as you're talking through that. And then from an investor point, I'll finish on this is I'm giving you my money because I wanted to invest in it and make a return. So if it's truly a business, I want to know how I'm going to make a return on this. And I didn't see any kind of understanding of where that was other than we want to save the sea turtles, which is, again, noble in itself. But as a business, I want to be able to save the sea turtles and make money at the end of the day. And that's kind of important for me. So understanding how those two connect from an investor perspective is important. But otherwise, I'm really looking forward to your refinements as you go, because I see a lot of really good things within your pitch.
Thank you, Michael.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Michael. And moving right along to Scotty. Scotty, what kind of feedback do you have for Kemi?
Yeah, no, Kemi, you struck a nerve with me right away because I have been sorting my plastic now for about a year and a half. And the recycling in my town is very different from the recycling in San Francisco, where my sister lives. So I've been taking my bags of plastic there and for all the same issues. So Michael and Rick touched on many of the same things that I noticed, but how you're going to do it, again, getting back to, for the investor, as you whittle down all the things you're trying to say, less is more for sure, because you want people to come back and ask you questions and then consider giving you funding. But like how you're going to do it, because it's going to have to be a very specific kind of plastic, I believe, to be used in this manufacturing method. And that's part of what you're going to have to test, I gather. So you're really in the very beginning stage, of getting this going. But I love the fact that you said I'm tired of waiting around for someone else to do it. I've just decided I'm going to do it. And to that end, and Nathan knows this group too, have you been in touch with the Sustainable Ocean Alliance at all? I wonder if there would be an opportunity there for you to get going with other entrepreneurs and other like-minded people. And they have groups all over the world. So we can catch up later about this, or with Nathan too, and connect you. The only other thing I would say is that it's really kind of hard to see you. Your lighting's tough. Oh, and I can't hear you.
Yeah, the light in the house is quite warm at the moment, and with it being nighttime, it's really hard to get the right lighting.
Yeah, but so that would be something to look at, because I can't see all of your facial expressions, you know, and the smiles. So it's really important to be able to see you, because in this medium, it's how our bodies work and how our voices work. So yeah, and there was only one word in there, just because I'm a word person, and I think it's an accent issues from the United States, certainly. So we might call it beta testing rather than beta testing.
Yeah,
so it'd be a more common way to say it for an American audience. So
yeah.
No, but great. I'm super excited about it. I would like to know how to get my hands on some furniture and support it. So thank you.
Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you, Scotty. And you just moved your angle a little bit, Kemi. And while it's still not ideal, it definitely is better. The light on your face right now is way better. And what I also like is the clock in the background. It's kind of a neat little touch, and it reminds us it's 2:30 a.m. on your side. So let's get moving. Massimo, what kind of feedback do you have for Kemi?
Yes, thank you. Well, I will try to focus on the slides so it's easier for me. Everybody said already a lot of good things. I love the concept. I love the idea. And I loved your first slide. I love the logo. Looks fairly professional. And as a first pitch, the whole deck is pretty good. But as I say often, I would use that kind of deck as a second deck that you give to the public, because it has too much information. You do not want the investors to read the slides and not following you. And that's what happened with me. I was reading the slide and so I didn't listen because there was too much text. So going to the specific, you kept the first slide on for 1 minute and 5 seconds. That's just too much, just to show the logo. Go to the second one. The second one, again, good for the second deck, but for the first deck, for the presentation, if you want to say turn blah, 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 blah into blah, 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 just say turn garbage into furniture. That's it. 3 words, 4 words, straight to the point, not wasting time to read for me. The third one about the statistic, being an engineer, I love numbers and everything. So as soon as you told me 99%, I wanted to know how many people you interviewed. If you say 99, it means at least 100, of course. Otherwise, you cannot be so specific. But to tell you the truth, if I were an investor, that question didn't really bring anything on the table for you, because the way it was asked was, would you rather have a cheap-looking, low-quality, polluting product, or a nice-looking, recycled, not polluting? Yeah, of course, everybody's going to answer B. There was kind of,
it was quite leading.
It's kind of of course. It was. So if you can just rephrase it a little bit less, of course it's going to be B. It will bring more value to the thing. And as I wrote in the chat, there are a couple of websites you can access free resources, videos, pictures, clip arts, if you don't want or if you don't have the money right now. Last thing for me, since I'm a software engineer, you put in the list of things, number 1, website, and then number 5 or 6, polymer scientist. Believe me, 1 week of the salary of that guy is going to cost you way more than the whole website. So to give priorities, move it in a different way, because it's for an investor, you say, well, it's going to cost me way more to pay you for the scientist than to build a simple website, because it's not even complicated. So, but also I can help you with that, just to give you some maybe numbers and ideas. But yeah, what can I say? Of course, we all need to either stop producing so much plastic or reuse all the ones, because we know, it takes hundreds of years to be recycled. So if we can reuse it somehow, and if you can help that, we'll be more than happy. So thank you very much. And of course, I'll be the first one to say, please come back with an improved pitch. Back to you, Claudio.
Thank you, Massimo. Also, great feedback. And Kemi, I can tell you that you must have struck a nerve somewhere with your pitch here today, because the feedback is so detailed and so valuable. We are actually gonna perhaps run a little bit late here today, simply because everybody seems to want to help you to get this just right. So Nathan, what kind of feedback do you have at this point for Kemi?
Okay, so thanks, Kimmy, for coming and giving us the pitch today. I hope you come back. Nobody said it yet, I think, directly. Please come back again and again and again, as often as you want, to continue to flesh this out, okay? I just want to get that on the table first. So first, as Michael said, there's a number of pieces that are missing that an investor needs to at least hear a little bit about. So you already ran over 1.5 minutes, right? So and by the way, the 3 minutes is more of a test tube situation, a laboratory situation. You might get 5, you might get 10, you might get 1. But 3 is an excellent number for you to dial in on, and then you can always go longer. Going shorter actually gets harder and harder and harder for most people. So I'm gonna recommend to you that you can the whole first 1:38 seconds. It just wasted time. We don't need to know about a problem that we already know about, especially in the detail that you gave us. So I recommend get right to it. Get right to it. Hold up a piece of, a plastic bottle or something and put it in our face. Use a prop. We turn this into furniture. Why do you have to tell us that the world has too much plastic? I mean, the fact that you're doing that tells us immediately, oh, great, we don't have to throw that in the ocean anymore or into a landfill. So I feel like you can get right to it much faster and grab us right at the beginning. And I feel like you didn't show me any examples of your furniture, even photoshopped examples of your furniture. And with 3D printing today that uses, wait for it, plastic, you can actually build up a couple of prototypes using a 3D printer. And
I actually did.
yes.
I've already done so. We've got 2 different dimensions, a rectangle and a cuboid type prototype already.
Next time, show us.
Yeah.
That even if they're just like raw, it shows that you are taking steps and not just waiting for somebody to throw money at you so you can go spend it to do what you say you want to do. But so there we go. And Hex probably can help you with 3D printing if you need more help on that one.
Yeah, luckily RMIT actually has gives students free access to it. So I am utilizing the facility as much as I can now.
Yep, beautiful. Okay, so I don't want to take up much more time than that. I just feel like you have lots of possibilities here. I'm going to put in the chat window for you a company that both Liederman and I have worked with in the past called RT Fox. And they are making very classy looking home office type furniture. Take a look at their website. It might be a good example of a company that's tackling the furniture market, even though it's not plastic based, but they're trying to break into a market that is so filled with competition, just like you are. So take a look at that, and then please come back again. I can't wait to see where this goes. Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback as well.
Thank you very much, Nathan. And we are moving on. You just mentioned Liederman. So Liederman, it's so good to see you back here. What kind of feedback do you have for Kemi?
Great to see you again, everybody. Kemi, awesome feedback here. Really, really good. I think you're going to enjoy watching this again. I really like the imagine at the beginning. I thought that was very powerful. And it made me feel like, of course, I know the problem. So like Nathan said, go straight to to what matters. If I boil it down, I think it comes down to how you will do it. That's something that we didn't get a good explanation. How do you collect all of this plastic? What kind of distribution channels will you have for your furniture or any of that? Manufacturing and all those important details, as well as why you. That's the other piece that I couldn't really get until you started explaining your background, and then it gave me a better sense of who you are and why you could be a person that solves these big problems. So again, how and why you. I think those are very important pieces that you could add to your pitch. Other than that, I really want to see it again. So thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Liederman. And that leaves Stuart. Stuart, again, thanks for coming back as well. Second time here. What kind of feedback can you share with Kemi?
Well, Kemi, thank you for the presentation. I really loved it. I was going to concentrate in two areas, the actual presenting and then the product. As far as the presentation goes, you've got a very nice voice. I liked the pace you presented at, but I completely agree with Massimo, which is that we were struggling between the competing slide and you. So I think what you want to think is, where is the attention supposed to be focused? If it's on the slide, let the audience read the slide. And then when it's you're speaking. And probably that means put a lot less information on the presentation slides. I think as well with some of your actual spoken sentences, they were quite long, and long sentences are hard to say and they're hard to understand. So especially at the beginning, if you do keep the beginning, although I quite like Nathan's suggestion of maybe just cut it, but if you do, make those sentences much shorter so that they're easy to follow. I don't think you need to say the word question before asking the question. I think it has more power just asking it. You had some great phrases. I loved treasure trove of trash, but also you had some words that felt a little bit just thrown in there because maybe they sounded cool, like blockchain and metaverse. And be careful because they need explanation. Either you've got an explanation that works or else probably leave them out. Looking at the product, something you always want to do is answer the questions that people have. And Michael's listed lots of those questions. But the one for me as a potential consumer, I was thinking is, okay, it's an admirable cause, but the problem with this type of thing is it's always expensive. What's it going to cost me? And then you came up with, actually, it doesn't need to be that expensive. And so I think I might disagree with Rick here and say, I quite liked this block solution. If that's the way you make the furniture cheap and affordable, and you can build out lots of things, that might be your unique selling point. So I might include that in a way that doesn't take up too much time, because I think that was quite interesting and could be the really key different thing about your presentation. But well done, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stuart. And again, great job, Kemi. And you've heard it from a couple of people. Please do come back. And as a matter of fact, what I recommend, and it makes it easier for the two of us because our time difference isn't so tremendous, get on my calendar sometimes next week again, and we can do a little bit of a debrief, a further debrief of today. Also grab the chat comments. There are a few really good nuggets in there. So if you can copy those out, please do so. And that gets us to the end of this week's session. Thank you everybody for attending and participating with such valuable feedback. I am sure this will help Kemi to create a new version of a pitch that will be a massive improvement on an already good pitch. And maybe then the third or fourth time even, I think you will be an absolute rock star on that pitching stage, Kemi. So I look forward to see your progress over time. And with that, I wish everybody a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And we shall see each other again next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much for your feedback.